guys, Happy New Year. It's me, Jana again, and today I will be showing you guys my year-end favorites in books. So first up, my top 5 favorite books of the year. It's here! Not in particular order. First is Cruel Beauty by Rosamund Hodge. I absolutely love this. Cruel Beauty is a high fantasy book, fairy tale retelling of Beauty and the Beast. And I love Beauty and the Beast so much. I think it's my most favorite Disney fairy tale. Knowing that Cruel Beauty is a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, it already hooked me. Okay, I have a text message. It already hooked me right then and there. And when I was reading this book, it was just filled of awesome goodness, and you will want to read it. Next one is Ruin and Rising by Leigh Bardugo. Ruin and Rising is the last book in the Grisha trilogy. And the Grisha trilogy is close to my heart. I love the Darkling so much. I love Alina's story. I kind of shipped the Darkling and Alina, but I kind of knew in book 2 that it probably won't happen. But still, the book is great. It's dark, mysterious, and full of magic, and it's a world you might want to live in if you want to escape this particular world we live in. Next one, but I don't have a copy because I read it an ebook, but it's Ignite Me by Tahereh Mafi, and this is a picture. I'm just gonna paste it right there where I point my fingers. I know a lot of YA dystopian books right now have romance in it, but Ignite Me in particular is more of a romance than a dystopian. Why? Because a lot of the pages in the book are dedicated to Warner and Juliet. Not that I'm complaining, because I love those two so much. I love the book. It gave me a lot of chills and a lot of feels, and I know a lot of people agree. So that's why it's on my top 5. Second to the last, and again, this is not in particular order, is City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare. Look how thick this book is. This book is the last book in the Mortal of Instruments series. I know in the first place there was supposed to be only 3 in the trilogy. That's why it's a trilogy though. But 3 in the series. But then I guess a lot of people wanted more of the story. So Cassandra and the publishers decided to create 3 more books in the series. So it's a total of 6. And this is the 6th one. And I don't know if I'm a fan of all the covers. There's just something in it that I don't like. But I guess they're okay. I don't know what to explain except that this book, this series rocks. I love it. Last but not the least, I just finished this last month. It's Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor. This is equally... City of Heavenly Fire is thicker by a little bit. But it's still thick. I read it straight. I couldn't afford to stop, but I had to because I had a lot of other things to do. But it's so great and so epic, and I love Akiva and Karu so much. I hope for their kinds and their world to just have peace is so remarkably impossible, but somehow they made it possible because of the passion in their hearts for peace. I don't know if I'm making sense, but this book is so epic, and I love the writing so much. It makes me feel like I'm an intelligent, smart person. Those were my top 5 books. The next is the best sequel, which is the middle book in a series. So that will go to The Revenge of Seven by Pittacus Lore. Of course, Pittacus Lore is not his real name, and there are actually 2 authors in the Pittacus Lore name, and I don't remember their names. I'm sorry. But The Revenge of Seven, I know I've read a lot of middle books in the series this year, and also published this year. And of course, there's an airplane coming. But I picked The Revenge of Seven because it was action-packed and so fast-paced, and I just can't help myself but turn the pages next to the next and to the next until I finished it. So yeah, The Revenge of Seven. If you haven't read this series yet, you have to if you're a fan of YA science fiction, fast-paced, action-packed books. Yeah. My next category is my best last book in a series. And I know most of the books in my top 5 favorites are last in the series, but if I have to pick, I will pick Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor. Because among the 5, this has the most elaborate and elegant ending and writing. If I have to sum up all the characteristics in a guy that I like, it's in Akiba. Except that he has wings, but just take off the wings. And I pretty much swallowed this whole thing reading it. So yes. The next category is the best YA debut novel. And it goes to Side Effects by Julie Murphy, and the picture is here. Side Effects is a YA contemporary book with a girl who had cancer, and she did a lot of things that might compromise her reputation, but it didn't really matter to her because she was dying anyway. And then one day she just learned that she was in remission, and that made her parents happy, but that made her think that like she's really in trouble because of the things that she did. But I enjoyed it because it's poignant and it's fun to read. She's sarcastic, and it kind of made me cry, but also it made me happy. Next is my favorite standalone and YA contemporary novel, and it goes to Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. Other than this being a fun and relatable novel for me, I just love Rainbow Rowell's stories and how she tells her stories. I just love how she tells stories, whether it be adult or young adult, or yeah, those are the only categories she has written yet. But I love Fangirl. It's an easy read and warm-hearted, and some parts made me cry. Just a teary kind of cry, not really the bowling kind of cry. So this is a good one, and I highly recommend this to anyone who loves YA contemporaries. Next one is my best young adult and high fantasy book, and it goes to Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. The first book is Throne of Glass, second book is Crown of Midnight, and this is the third book. As you can see, I have 2 marks here, and I don't really remember what those are, but I'm gonna read one. Adrian swung his legs back onto the roof and stood. All I want, he snarled, is for my people to be free and my queen restored to her throne. They burned the antler throne, Adrian. There is no throne for her. Then I'll build one myself from the bones of our enemies. And my commentary was, is Adrian like a potential new love life for Selena? Really? I'm all about the base. I'm all about the love life, really. I actually love this book among all the YA high fantasy I've read last year, 2014, because it didn't really focus much on the love life of Selena, but it focused more on her admitting and being honest to who really she is and coming into herself as if she's really lost. But she has denied who she really was for a long time, and this was the book that she admitted and was honest to herself. And because of that, a lot of fun and action things happen, a lot of adventure, and I love this story. Though I'm not a fan of the new covers, because I still love the real person cover. I don't know, a lot of people love this in the anime covers, but I love the original ones. Moving on is the best dystopian book for me this year. It's The Forever Song by Julie Kagawa. I'm just gonna paste a picture right here. I love this book, other than it being the last book in the Immortal Rules series. But as usual, I'm a fan of Julie Kagawa. She's one of my auto-buy authors, which means I will automatically buy any books that she will publish because she's that good. I love how she creates unique worlds and how engaging her characters are, and even if her characters are not of this world and they are just made up characters, but somehow she makes them very relatable. And I love the last book, and the ending is very satisfying. Though the ending made me want more of the story, but somehow it's very satisfying and no cliffhangers there. It's right, it's justified, and it's all good. Next one is my favorite NA standalone book, and you guessed it right, it's by Colleen Hoover, and it's Maybe Someday. Though I loved Slammed and Point of Retreat and Losing Hope and Hopeless and Ugly Love, but there's just something about Maybe Someday that I like, and let's be honest, it's the music. I love the playlist, and I love how Colleen Hoover collaborated with Griffin Peterson with this, and he created songs associated with this book. If you will read this book, you have to listen to the playlist because they go along so well and they just, you know, click like that. I'm not really a fan of the whole story, but I love that this book had collaborated with really good music. And next, the book with the most feels, or the book that gave me a lot of feels, is, yes, you guessed it right, it's Ignite Me by Tahereh Mafi. There's more of the interaction between Warner and Juliet, other than how they interacted with each other, but how they showed their building love to the other people in the book too. It's just crazy. It's crazy good. Okay, the book that made me cry buckets awardee goes to Mudvayne by Taryn Fisher. Seriously, Mudvayne made me cry so much. My heart was just so crushed. It's an adult fiction and it's romance. There are no parts which will make you cringe. Like cringe because this is making me uncomfortable kind of cringe. So that's, I will sound really so masochistic if I will say that I like that this book made me cry a lot, but it's how the story was told and what the story is really about and how broken this character is. It seems like all the unfortunate events just happened to her and it's really heartbreaking. And how Taryn Fisher can create books like this is beyond my comprehension. Next is the Couple of the Year award. It goes to the characters of the selection series by Kira Cass, America and Maxon. I know, I picked Warner and Juliet for the book that made me feel a lot of feels category, but America and Maxon are like the sweetest couple there is to exist, at least with the books that I read this year. Next, let's go to the most feel-good read. It's the kind of book that I won't mind reading again and again. And this book goes to Magnolia by Christy Cook. Main characters of this book are Southerns, and other than the South making you feel warm and fuzzy inside, but the story is also making me feel warm and fuzzy inside. It has the feel of Romeo and Juliet theme in the sense that the family of the guy and the girl are involved. They're the friends forever kind of family friends, and so many generations they have wished that their families will be joined together, but alas, every generation there's only a male-male or a female-female kind of matches going on, so it really didn't happen yet. In this generation, a guy and a girl were born at the same year, and of course they matched them since they were born, but much to the disappointment of their parents, they're really not into each other. But because something happened this year and this something made them closer to each other, and yeah, in short, I shipped them together. And next one, just how many categories do you have, Jenna? I promise there are like 4 more left. The best book cover of the year goes to the one by Kira Cass. Just look at how adorable this cover is. Like all the covers in the selection series is really gorgeous, and just they're the kind of books that you will just want to buy because of the book covers, regardless of what is inside. But of course, the inside is what matters most. But it doesn't hurt that the cover is really gorgeous. And I love the gowns, the gowns of the models, the covers. And this one just tells you something major, like a wedding kind of major happens in the book. And I love how princessy it is with the font and everything. This is just the perfect and the purest, most gorgeous, most beautiful cover I have bought this year. My favorite publisher this year, just because, Spencer Hill Press. For those of you who are not familiar with Spencer Hill Press, they're an independent publisher, support indie. They've been publishing books since 2011, I'm not sure, but around that time. And at that time, they only have a few authors, and now they have a lot, like tripled, quadrupled numbers. And they're publishing more and more books. They opened a daughter company of Spencer Hill Press, and it includes Spencer Hill Contemporary, and I forgot the other one. But the point is, they're growing and growing. Actually, Jennifer Armentrout's The Covenant series is published by Spencer Hill Press. Second to the last, my favorite self-published book, it's The Elsker Saga by S.T. Bende. I actually don't know how to pronounce her name. Bende? Something. I think The Elsker Saga by S.T. Bende is one of the understated and underrated self-published books out there because it's really good. It's Norse mythology inspired YA fantasy book. The editing was good, the writing was good, the story was really kind of engaging and addicting, and there was some other flaws, but overall I really loved this series. That's why I picked it for my favorite self-published book series this year. And last but not the least, my favorite quote in the book. You can guess where this comes from. There are so many ways to be brave in this world. Sometimes bravery involves laying down your life for something bigger than yourself or for someone else. Sometimes it involves giving up everything you have ever known or everyone you have ever loved for the sake of something greater. But sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it is nothing more than gritting your teeth through pain and the work of every day, the slow walk toward a better life. That is the sort of bravery I must have now. It's actually a book that was published last year, and I think you guessed it right. It's From a Legion, the third book in the Divergent series by Veronica Roth. It was Tris who said these lines, and though we have different circumstances in life, but I too was going through something in my life. This quote just hit home and hit me right in the heart, because bravery doesn't just involve dying because you saved someone's life, but it also means persevering through life every day and gritting through pain, whatever pain you may have. It may be emotional, physical, or whatever, and just being optimistic enough to face every day and continuing to hope for a better life. And I guess I'm getting emotional, but just a shout out to everyone going through any pain right now. Just hold on tight and you'll get through it. Someday you'll just be glad that you've been through those trials and you experienced those trials, because you'll become a better person and a braver person and just stronger in life. So those were my favorite books this year in random categories, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you got ideas from me what books you want to read this year. I hope I helped you in that sense. So yeah, thanks again for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you still haven't. Give this video a thumbs up. Happy New Year again, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye! Top 5, the Grisha too in the moral. I can't even with Akiba. If I have to just to Heir of Hat, Eileen Galathinius. I'm not gonna say who said that, but it was Rowell. I just said it. Anyway, moving on. Though, next one is The Airplane. She's such the